Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdsson of World Alternative Media here, and we are joined by Alistair Still, CEO of Gold Mining Inc., a very interesting company. And there's so much going on in the world right now, and we're going to break down a few of those issues, try to solve all the world's problems in one video. First of all, thank you very much for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Great to be here today.
Absolutely. So there's so much turmoil happening around the world, much of it economic as we see inflation worsen. BRICS prop itself up as a future world reserve currency system with 66% of the world's population joined, and former Fed chair and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen recently acknowledging the dollar will slowly lose reserve status as we see more and more economic turmoil. Before we get into gold, what do you think is happening? Are we seeing the end of the dollar era? If so, why?
Well, I think it's like anything. People are looking for alternatives. Whether it will be successful or not, who's to say? Perhaps it's something similar to we saw a shift, many years ago now. But thinking back, it was a fundamental shift at the time when people saw cryptocurrency coming in to replace the dollar. And while it's had an impact and it's out there, it certainly has not replaced the dollar. But one of the things that remains constant in all of those discussions, whether it's the US dollar or crypto, is gold. And gold has really stood the test of time for several millennia as a true store of currency and value and wealth. And it still remains even more valid today when the waters become a little more troubled or turbulent.
And they certainly are. And we know Russia has acknowledged that while the BRICS currency will be cashless, it will be based on gold. If the economic order that appears to be winning right now, and GDP proves this, wants to base their currency on gold, what does that mean for gold in the future?
Well, I think quite simply, if as you describe it, with the size and the scale of the players and the world population involved, it would create a huge demand for gold, the likes of which is not present right now above the ground on this planet. It would create a tremendous push for gold. We haven't been on a gold standard for decades, and pushing towards a gold standard would make the reserves that there are present right now that much more scarce, that much more sought after, ultimately meaning a higher gold price.
No, absolutely. And I've always seen gold as a wealth insurance against inflation and failed currencies more than an investment. However, people like yourself are pulling it out of the ground, which could be a lot more lucrative from an investment standpoint. Everyone should do their own due diligence. And this isn't investment advice, of course. But can you tell the audience what Gold Mining Inc. is?
Well, Gold Mining Inc. is an exploration and development company listed on the New York Stock Exchange and Toronto Stock Exchange. And we have a portfolio of projects throughout the Americas, gold-rich projects, some 23 million gold equivalent resource ounces. So it gives investors incredible leverage to the price of gold. But what sets us apart from many exploration development companies is an extremely strong balance sheet, which is backed by real and tangible assets. Which right now, believe it or not, the value of our cash and our equities, which are held in publicly traded companies, are worth more than our market cap. So we're trading at a negative enterprise value, which is a terrific fundamental value play. But those equities that we do have are fundamentally in Gold Royalty Corp and U.S. Gold Mining, two significant players with listings in the U.S. And again, these are real intangible assets in our balance sheet. That's what sets us apart. We've got an experienced team to move our assets all in the Americas as we led into this to push for more and more resources and to be able to extract those in what we believe to be a increasing gold price environment.
How did you get the best name in the game? I mean, I can't think of a better name than Gold Mining Inc. if you're dealing with gold mining.
Well, I have to give a lot of credit to our chairman and founder, Amir Adnani, who started the company more than 10 years ago, and had a very simple strategy, which was really to acquire assets and projects when there were downturns or dips in the market. So when the company ran into a distressed time, if the gold price shifted a little bit and the company ran into trouble, that's when Gold Mining Inc. And our founder and chairman was purchasing assets. And we like to say that many of the assets we purchased at times, which were effectively 10 cents in the dollar, more or less, we've now brought in an experienced team. Even myself, I worked almost 25 years for major operating companies such as Goldcorp and Newmont and Kinross, some of the biggest miners on the planet. We've brought an experienced technical team to start moving those projects forward and unlocking value for our shareholders.
So I always love bringing, not investment advice, of course, to people. As I said before, everyone has to do their due diligence. It's a legal jargon we have to talk about, but I'm always interested in bringing our audience here at World Alternative Media people who are doing really interesting things that set themselves apart from others. And I know a lot of people are excited to get into a lot of this stuff. What is your market capitalization right now, and how have you seen it grow over the years?
Yeah, well, fundamentally, our market capitalization is backed by our share count, which is about 160 million shares. We're trading at around $1 a share, or close to it at the time of this. So it's easy to calculate a market cap of about 160, 170 million dollars. That has been trending upwards, but we do fluctuate with the price of gold. And what we have shown is that with a large portfolio of primarily gold resources, an extreme leverage to the price of gold. Let me give an example of that. What we have seen in the past couple of cycles, we've seen a trend where the price of gold might rise in a 6 or 12-month period of 10, 20, or even 30%. And one might think, hey, that's a pretty good return. But with a leveraged portfolio such as ours, what we have typically seen is in the past, and this may not be a representation of the future, but we can certainly learn from what's happened in the past. We've seen returns during those same cycles in our share price of 300 or 400%. So far exceeding the returns than the physical metal, even beating the exchanges that one might say, hey, in a rising gold price, all stocks are up. Sure, they are. We've also significantly outperformed the indexes during the same time periods as well.
Okay, so what have been some recent projects your company has gotten involved in, and with that, the potential future upside?
Yeah, well, one of the projects that we're most excited about is our Whistler project in Alaska. This is an asset we've put into a new vehicle now called U.S. Gold Mining Inc., and we own over 80% of that company. Wow. So we have great exposure to this property. It's a large gold copper porphyry system in Alaska, great mining jurisdiction. It's only 100 miles from Anchorage, the biggest center in Alaska. And that project is being set to drill in the coming weeks. And we've brought an experienced team. The former head of exploration for Newmont for North America has come on board to work with us. So that speaks to what he thinks of the project. He's worked extensively in the Yukon before, and this is Tim Smith, an experienced geologist I've known for many years. So we're very excited to be drilling on that project. And also we had recent news out just within the last 2 weeks of one of our projects in Colombia, our La Mina project. We came out with a preliminary economic assessment on this project, which really is a marker, a measure of the economic viability of it. And it showed very strong economics. It was producing close to 1.7 million gold equivalent ounces and about a 12-year mine life, showed a very strong economic return with a NAV or NPV value of $274 million. And this was largely supported by a drill discovery we'd made the previous year. A drill discovery, I can add that we found over 1 million ounces in the inferred category and additional material in the indicated category for combined costs of less than $2 per ounce. So very efficient discovery of ounces, put it into an economic study. We're showing we've created value on a project there, which is really just getting started and starting to really get excitement and traction now.
So as I mentioned earlier, I'm a big fan of gold and silver. I have been for a long time. Physically in your hands, that's one of the big things for me always, as wealth insurance against issues with different currencies around the world. But why is gold mining investments so lucrative in the face of that, in the face of economic turmoil? What stands out about it to you that you see it as a lucrative investment?
Well, I always point people back to do your homework, do your research, and look at the fundamentals of a company. Mm-hmm. And let's peel it back to the basics. What are the assets in the company? And look at what gold mining has. A number of projects, all within the Americas, giving exposure to some close to 23 million gold equivalent ounces. Most of that is gold, about 80% of that is gold, but there's also about 20% of copper within that, and copper occurring with gold at a couple of our bigger deposits. Mm-hmm. So you've got a little exposure to the greener metal as well as gold as the primary metal. So fundamental of the projects is terrific. They're in strong jurisdictions. And I might add that by having some 8 projects that make up our primary resources, That gives greater diversity and optionality. So you don't have to bet all your chips on one horse here. You've got a number of projects we can advance and prioritize on the best ones. So look at the assets. I'd also then point to the balance sheet. Does the company have the strength to continue growing these assets, to fund them and develop them? And I would say check to this for Gold Mining Inc. Look at the track record of what the company has done, kept a very tight share count, minimized dilution for our shareholders, and created tremendous balance sheet strength with the equities that we've created with US Gold Mining and Gold Royalty, such that those equities alone are approximately the value of our market cap at the time of filming of this. So tremendous balance sheet strength. And then the third thing I would look at for investors is who's running the company? Who are the players? What's the team look like? And I think our team speaks for itself. We've got an experienced chairman, a great entrepreneur who's now created 5 separate companies. Tremendous wealth he's created. That's Amir Adnani. I came on board myself because I saw the portfolio of assets. I spent a career working at operating gold mines, building mines around the world for the major operators, and saw this portfolio, wanted to come work with it. And on top of that, we've also added a co-chairman earlier this year, and that's David Garofalo, former head of CEO of Gold Corp, which at the time created the world's largest gold mining merger when it merged with Newmont just a few years ago. So an extremely experienced industry veteran. And then rounding that out with our true explorationist field geologist, Tim Smith, our VP exploration, who also come over from Newmont, the world's largest gold miner. He also believes in the projects. He's helping us advance them. So you check all 3 boxes, the assets, the balance sheet, and the team. I think that sets up for a winning combination.
Absolutely. I've talked with every single person that you just mentioned, and they're all very brilliant people, and they all bring really interesting insights from different angles in the market to different projects. So it's very, very interesting to hear. Now, can you give a short elevator pitch on why people should consider getting involved?
Well, I would say, again, apart from looking at the fundamentals, right now there's tremendous value. As we believe the price of gold is rising, gold mining offers incredible leverage to the price of gold. On top of that, it's at an unheard of value right now in that we're trading at a negative enterprise value. That is, our cash and equities are worth more than the market cap of the company, or sorry, worth less than the market cap of the company right now. So that's creating a gap, which means, hey, something is being missed here by the investment world. Once it catches on, that's the trick for a good return for an investor here.
Very interesting. And I urge people to check the links in the description if you want to learn more and if you want to get involved. But can you tell us where what the tickers are, and can you name the website?
Yeah, absolutely. So easy to remember. In Toronto, it's a familiar ticker symbol. It's GOLD on the Toronto Stock Exchange. And in New York, it's GLDG. And our website, www.goldmining.com. And one can follow the links there and sign up for our newsletter as well and get all the latest and greatest information as it comes hot off the press.
Hey, you got the best ticker, you got the best website name, you got the best company name for something like this. So that alone, on top of all the projects that you guys are doing and all the ways that you're setting yourselves apart from the others, is very interesting. So, that alone should get people to go and check that link in the description and get involved if you want to, or if you don't, but you have the information in front of you. And we always like to bring people potential opportunities here at World Alternative Media. So again, thank you very much for joining us, Alistair. That's Alistair Still, and I urge people to check those links below and let me know in the comments what you guys think. I appreciate you joining us, Mr. Still.
A pleasure to be here. Look forward to speaking again soon. And like many of our investors, many of your followers, very excited about the path that we see for Gold Mining Inc. and the price of gold.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.